Part A of my presentation is a review of 2014 and Part B is the insights of 2015. Next. Now, what happened in terms of TIV? I know Frost & Sullivan has done a similar, I would say, briefing last week, and they had given actually an estimate of the TIV. The TIV that we are giving here is the numbers that has been registered with RTD. So these are confirmed numbers insofar as registration is concerned. So in the year 2014, last year, the TIV has grown to, we have achieved 665,675 units. So that's 665,675. So 2014 is 665,675. So in comparison for the last 10 years, the compounded annual growth has been 2.87%. That's the last 10 years compounded annual growth. Next. In comparison to 2013, TIV in last year, 2014, grew by 1.5% from 2013. Now, I must say that the market liberalization under the NAP 2014 has induced this growth. So it means that the fact that we are liberalizing the market under the new policy has actually forced greater market competition, has forced greater fight between the OEMs and consumers have got also better choices, more choices of models of cars, etc. and so on. So the market liberalization induced growth, but then of course how this growth are being translated by the OEM, they factored in the growth into new models. Definitely new models now are with better technology, which are better fuel efficiency and also improved safety. Secondly, the prices, as I mentioned, are more competitive, so more competitive on the road prices, as well as really, the round-the-year promotions by the OEM. It's no more seasonal, and even as this month, the promotions that are going on are rather, I would say, phenomenal. So it's a non-seasonal thing anymore. It's round-the-year kind of promotion. So all these factors contribute towards the growth, but the growth itself is being induced by the fact that the market is now more liberalized, meaning giving more voices to more market forces to play its role towards giving the consumer better cars, better technology, more competitive prices, etc. and so on. So it grew by 1.5% as compared to the year before, 2014. Next. Now in terms of market share, Perodua continues to lead the market by 29.4%. The year before, they were at 29.9%. Proton maintains its second position despite a lower market share in 2014, and against 2013, it has declined by 3.8%. But the national brands make up 46.8% of the total market share, and Honda was the biggest gainer in 2014, and they've increased their market share by 3.7%. Okay. Next. In terms of popular passenger models, these are popular passenger models in the year 2014, and all these models, popular passenger models, they represent 65% of the market share. 65% of the market share in the year 2014. So we can see there, Perodua, Myvi especially recorded 82,000, followed by Alza 55,000, and their Asia 29,000 units. The Asia just being launched in September, so I believe Asia will continue to dominate the market. So Perodua, 3 popular models, followed by Proton, Saga at 56,000, Persona 21,000, Exora 15,000. Honda, their CT has recorded 36,000, the Honda CT, and the Honda Jazz by 12,000, while Vios, the Vios of Toyota, recorded sales of 42,000. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 models, 9 popular models in Malaysia that represent 65% of the overall market share in the year 2014. Next. Now, that's all about 2014, okay, really about TIV, what are the popular models and who are dominating the market and so on and so forth, yeah. Now, what are the insights of 2015, okay, this is really moving forward, the insights of the year. We move on, next. Now, MAI we maintain our 2015 TIV forecast of 700,000 units. We have declared this even in the month of October, and towards the end of December, we also said about 700,000 units, and we said during that time that we will review whether we can sustain or not the 700,000 units. So today I'm declaring to all of you that we are maintaining this forecast of 700,000 units for the year 2015, and this will represent an increase of 5.1% compared to the year 2014. Now, one subject that I want to highlight to all of you is the TIV of 2015 may increase to more than 750,000 units in 2015, but this will be subjected to viability of consumer incentive schemes such as cash for clunkers. This is an example of a scheme, okay. I said that subject to viability because these viability factors are being evaluated in the current context, in the context of current situation. We are now in talks with government, with MOF, with related government bodies. We are in talk with the OEMs, and we are also in talk to make sure that if there are such a cash for clunkers scheme being approved, we need to make sure that vehicles will be recycled properly and not being dumped in a yard. We need to make sure that whatever cars that are going to be scrapped under the scheme will have to be recycled properly, clean, oil and so on will not affect the environment, and we can retrieve back all the good components and can be reconditioned, and this can get back into the system as second-hand spare parts, etc. and so on. Yeah. So that's why please understand that it may increase. The TIV may increase to more than 750,000 should such an incentive is viable. Viable means not only government approved, but the OEM must see that it is viable also for their operation. Remember, in the year 2009, we have done such a policy, we call it scrap policy, okay? In the year 2009, whereby OEM and government, they share, both of them share, I think, an amount of total of 4,000 or 5,000 ringgit, and it is a money, I mean, it is an amount of money that offsets the price of the new car, and the consumer, the buyer, will have to actually bring in the old car and scrap the old car. In the year 2009, it was only open for Proton and Peradua, but our thinking is we should open this for all OEMs. That's why we need to talk. We are now actually talking across all the OEMs to understand whether it is viable or not for them to share a part of this cash incentive for the consumer, because as you know, the OEMs are giving promotions, they are also making the price more competitive, and now we are asking, can you agree to this such a scheme? This will increase more sales, and at the same time this will help to eliminate, reduce all those old cars on the road and allow them to exit the system. So we see this scheme not only because of the flood situation that had made many cars complete loss, but it is good to the environment, and it is also a way to increase sales of cars during challenging time. Okay, so that's one of the initiatives that we are currently working. Next. Now, the opportunities and challenges in the year 2015. Current economic highlights, I think we all know that lower crude oil prices are impacting oil producing countries, number one, and secondly, the appreciating of the US dollars against all major currencies. So that's another factor. So these are really the two main factors that could have an impact to Malaysian economy in the year 2015, right? Now let's see how these are impacting the auto industry. Next. Now, the impact to the OEMs, there are several impacts to the OEM, and we term it as immediate and medium impacts. The immediate impact are materials and supplies that are traded in US dollars, and this trading is based on the existing current forex, meaning as at today it is at 3.5 something or 3.4 something, so it is based on the existing forex. So these are immediate impact, and I said last December we were evaluating how much of this impact impacting the supply chain of the auto industry, and based on the study that we have done, such immediate impact on materials and supplies represent about 30% of what is in the supply chain of the auto industry. And we are now discussing with the OEMs, especially the OEMs, to understand or to talk with them how to mitigate this immediate impact, because it is somehow impacting 30% of the supply chain in the auto industry, having to trade directly in US dollars based on the current forex. Now, the medium impact are materials and supplies traded in previous US dollars and based on remaining stocks. Now, what it means here is, there are some of the materials, and most of the materials have been purchased long time ago before this US dollar appreciation. So they got stocks. So these stocks were based on forex of 3.2 or 3.1 something. So these stocks are furthermore being sold to Malaysian suppliers in RM Malaysia. So these medium supplies of stocks are not yet impacting our auto industry, and these are quite huge. 70% of our supply chain are based on what we call medium impact. Now we are currently monitoring this 70% across the supply chain. We even had set up a committee, and the committee is leading the monitoring exercise and also to recommend necessary actions, because the medium impact, if it were to hit Malaysian auto industry, it will hit in the month of June, July. So the first 6 months of this year, we are impacting, yes, by the 30%, but the remaining 70% we are still, I would say, surviving because of the stocks and because of some of these transactions were using US dollars previously. Yeah? So a committee has been set up to monitor this particular issue and also to recommend the necessary action. Next. Now, impact to consumer. Lower crude oil obviously has led to lower retail price of petrol, and this will further reduce the cost of vehicle ownership. So the simulation, just showing you one simulation, we have basically done simulation across all popular models and across 70%, 65% of models. But we just want to show you that one model in particular here is 88,000, the Honda City. No price, we maintain the price before and after. 2014, 2015, insurance remained the same, the road tax remained the same, but the fuel alone with a lower fuel or petrol prices, the cost of vehicle ownership will reduce by 4.7%, 5% reduction of the cost of vehicle ownership because of lower retail price of petrol. Yeah? In this case, we are referring to petrol. Okay, so this is a good impact to the consumer. Next. Now, I want to share also with all of you some of the key initiatives, and these are the main initiatives. There are many other initiatives, but I thought that it would be good to share some of the key initiatives, because these are the key initiatives that will really strengthen further the competitiveness of the auto industry in Malaysia. Number one, work is in progress to develop fundamental technologies in Malaysia. What are these technologies? Forging. Malaysia, we don't have forging for our auto industry, so we are importing. So we are work in progress, working towards setting up a forging company in Malaysia. We are also working towards setting up iron casting in Malaysia. Also a complete ecosystem of engine and transmission assembly in Malaysia. I correct myself, it's engine and transmission manufacturing in Malaysia, meaning component manufacturing as well as assembly of this component to make it into an engine and transmission system in Malaysia. Okay. At the same time, you know, I've made several announcements pertaining to the electric mobility. We are developing now electric mobility, and this includes manufacturing of lithium-ion battery, electric bus as well as electric vehicle. This year for the lithium-ion battery electric bus prototypes will be ready 2015, production 2016. For the electric vehicle prototype 2016, and hopefully, you know, we can do the production end of 2016 or latest earlier 2017. But work are already in progress and started for batteries and electric bus. The R&D for the electric vehicle has also started, making it possible to have the prototype by early part of 2016. Now at the same time also we are working to development of fuel quality towards Euro 4 and Euro 5. I know that there's been announcement pertaining to Euro 4 and Euro 5, Euro 4 petrol and Euro 5 diesel that are coming in only in the year 2018 and the year 2020, something like that. You know, but what I'm referring here is, number one, you know very well that we have worked with some of the petrol companies, oil companies, and we have introduced the Euro 5 diesel in Johor. So BHP has already introduced something like how many? 10? 12? 12 or 11? 11 petrol stations on to supply diesel 5, Euro diesel 5. Petronas has started with one, and in total they will be doing how many? 10? About 10. All that in Johor. We are working with these companies to roll out this program into Selangor, into Penang, into Kuantan and so on. Because you understand, I mean all of you know very well that when it comes to diesel, for example, yeah, clean diesel technology, you know, now with one fuel tank can go easily 300, 400, 500 kilometers depending on the model, you know. So having a complete supply of clean diesel, for instance, in the southern, central, in the north, in the east, you know, would make sense in terms of viability and also I would say mobility of such clean diesel technology to work around to operate around Malaysia. Yeah. So we are in 2015 development of fuel quality towards Euro 4 and Euro 5, a rollout from Johor into other parts of Malaysia. Right. So I think that's it. Yeah. That's the presentation today. We are keeping it short, just about TIV, before, after, talking about the customer incentive, impact of the current economic to the OEM, to the consumer, and also some of the key initiatives that we thought are important to share with all of you. All this is to further strengthen the competitiveness of the Malaysian auto industry.